He didn't just fight, he dazzled. Footwork like poetry, hands like lightning, a smile that charmed millions and fists that silenced legends. Sugar Ray Leonard was more than a boxer. He was a showman, a strategist, and a storm wrapped in silk. In an era stacked with monsters, Duran, Hearns, Hagler, Benitez, Ray didn't survive. He thrived, outthinking, outmoving, outshining. They called him Sugar because his style was sweet, but make no mistake, his punches carried venom. Olympic gold medalist, 5-division world champion. He brought boxing back to the mainstream, filled arenas, and lit up the screen with charisma and chaos. And when the gloves came off, the suits got sharper, the cars faster, the life louder. From million-dollar bouts to the broadcast booth, Sugar Ray turned brilliance into a brand. So, before we break down the style, the stardom, and the savage brilliance of Sugar Ray Leonard, smash the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. Because this isn't just boxing, it's sweet science at its finest. Born on May 17th, 1956, in Wilmington, North Carolina, Ray Charles Leonard didn't grow up with dreams of boxing glory. He was a quiet, observant boy, more comfortable with comic books than conversation. When his family moved to Palmer Park, Maryland, his world became even smaller. But everything changed when he followed his older brother to the local boxing gym. Not to fight, but just to watch. What began as curiosity turned into obsession. Inside those ropes, the shy kid found something he'd never shown the world: speed, timing, precision, and power. His talent bloomed fast, and by the time the 1976 Olympics rolled around, Sugar Ray Leonard wasn't just a promising boxer. He was America's golden hope. He delivered, winning gold in Montreal, then turning pro with a smile as sharp as his jab. What followed was a career carved into boxing history. He outboxed the slick Wilfred Benitez for his first world title. He avenged a loss to Roberto Duran in the infamous No Mas fight. He stopped Thomas Hearns in a dramatic war. And in one of boxing's greatest comebacks, he returned from retirement to defeat the legendary Marvin Hagler. Ray Leonard didn't just compete with the best, he beat them all. The only man of the four kings to do so. 5 world titles across 5 weight classes. Over $100 million in prize purses. And a legacy that transcends a sport. As of 2025, his net worth is estimated at $120 million, built through boxing, endorsements, acting roles, and business ventures. But behind the fame, the fortune, and the flash, who is Sugar Ray Leonard? And what drove him to rise, again and again, when others would have stayed down? That's the story we're about to tell. It didn't begin in the spotlight or on the grand stage, but rather in a quiet neighborhood in Palmer Park, Maryland. Under the guidance of coaches Dave Jacobs and Jenks Morton, that quiet kid with a head full of comic book dreams discovered something extraordinary. His hands moved with blur-like speed, his eyes read punches before they were thrown, and his body danced around danger like it was second nature. He wasn't just talented, he was rare. It didn't take long for word to spread. During one of his early sparring sessions, U.S. Olympic assistant coach Sarge Johnson leaned over to Jacobs, pointed at the teenager in the ring, and said, "That kid you've got, he's sweet as sugar." And just like that, the name stuck. Sugar Ray Leonard. The nickname wasn't just a tribute to the great Sugar Ray Robinson. It became a prophecy. Leonard tore through the amateur ranks like a storm with purpose. He won national Golden Gloves titles, AAU championships, and, most importantly, the respect of anyone who stood across from him in the ring. And by the time the 1976 Olympic Games arrived in Montreal, he wasn't just a member of that legendary U.S. team. He was its crown jewel. Fight after fight, he dominated. 5 bouts, 5 unanimous decisions. His punches weren't just fast, they were poetry in motion, leather and grace fused into rhythm. In the finals, he faced Cuba's fearsome knockout artist, Andres Aldama, a man who had destroyed every opponent in his path. But Leonard was undeterred. He dropped Aldama in the second round and cruised to victory, standing tall as Olympic champion. Then he shocked the world with a single sentence: "I'm finished. My dream is fulfilled. I fought my last fight." At just 20 years old, he believed his boxing journey had ended. But life had other plans. A paternity suit, his father's declining health, his mother's heart attack. The endorsement deals he'd hoped for never came. Reality came crashing down, harder than any punch he'd ever taken in the ring. He wasn't ready to be a professional boxer, but he needed to be a provider. So he did what great fighters do, he fought. February 5th, 1977, Baltimore Civic Center. Sugar Ray Leonard made his professional debut against Luis the Bull Vega. Over 10,000 fans packed the arena to see the Olympic hero. What they saw instead was the birth of a star. Leonard dismantled Vega over 6 rounds, earning $40,000, enough to repay the investors who believed in him, and more than enough to prove he belonged. And once he started, he never looked back. He cut through the welterweight division like a man on a mission, stopping Floyd Mayweather Sr., avenging an amateur loss to Randy Shields, and destroying Pete Ranzani in 4 brutal rounds to capture the NAF title. Each fight wasn't just a win, it was a statement. He wasn't just good, he was different. That difference became undeniable on November 30th, 1979, when Leonard stepped into the ring at Caesar's Palace to face the undefeated Wilfred Benitez. The air in Vegas felt electric, 2 masters of timing and technique about to paint a masterpiece. Leonard dropped Benitez early, but the crafty Puerto Rican adjusted, making Ray miss like no one ever had before. Still, champions adapt. And in the final seconds of the 15th round, Ray landed a left hook so precise it folded Benitez. The referee stopped the fight. Sugar Ray Leonard was crowned WBC welterweight champion of the world. But glory never sleeps, and neither do rivals. His first title defense was a showcase of power. Against Dave Boy Green, Ray unleashed a left hook so devastating that Green was unconscious before he hit the canvas. Leonard called it the hardest punch he ever threw. But waiting in the shadows was Roberto Duran. June 1980. Montreal. The silky smooth showman versus the street-bred brawler from Panama. Duran turned the fight into a trench war, forcing Leonard to abandon movement and finesse, dragging him into the dirt. It worked. Ray lost by unanimous decision. It was a bitter pill, but not a fatal one. Because 5 months later, in New Orleans, he came back. And this time, Sugar Ray didn't come to fight Duran. He came to embarrass him. He danced. He weaved. He made Duran miss so badly, the crowd began to laugh. In the 8th round, with his pride unraveling, Duran turned away from the action, raised his gloves, and said 2 words no fighter ever wants to say: "No moss." Ray didn't just win. He broke the unbreakable. And yet, even that wasn't his greatest moment. That came in September 1981, under the desert sky of Las Vegas, in a fight billed as the showdown. Ray Leonard versus Thomas Hitman Hearns, an apex predator with a cannon for a right hand. For 7 rounds, Hearns controlled the fight. Ray's eye swelled. His back hit the ropes. But champions, they find something extra. In the 13th round, with the clock working against him, Leonard exploded. He battered Hearns with blistering combinations. In the 14th, he pinned him again and finished the job. The referee stepped in. Ray Leonard was now the undisputed welterweight champion of the world. Then, just when the world was ready to celebrate his prime, the rug was pulled out. A detached retina. Surgery. Forced retirement in 1982. But fire doesn't go out that easily. In 1984, he returned to face Kevin Howard. He won, but he was dropped for the first time in his career. That night, Ray announced he was done. Again. But in 1986, watching Marvin Hagler, boxing's granite-shinned middleweight king, struggle with John Mugabe, something shifted. "I can beat Hagler," Ray told his team. Everyone thought it was madness. April 6, 1987. Caesar's Palace. The super fight. Leonard versus Hagler. Ray used every ounce of guile, movement, and heart to outmaneuver the beast. He didn't stand toe-to-toe. He danced in and out, stole rounds with flashy bursts, and frustrated the champion with slick counters. It was razor-thin, controversial, but when the decision was read, Sugar Ray Leonard had done it again. He came back once more to beat Donnie Lalonde for 2 more belts, drew in a thrilling rematch with Hearns, and bested Donaire a third time. But time never loses. And in 1991, Terry Norris showed Ray that his magic was gone. Knocked down, outclassed, outpaced. "This is no longer my time," he admitted. "Tonight was my last fight." Except it wasn't. In 1997, at 40 years old, he climbed back into the ring one last time. Hector Camacho stopped him in 5 rounds, handing Leonard the only knockout loss of his career. And then it truly was over. A record of 36 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 25 knockouts, world titles in 5 weight classes. The only man to defeat Benitez, Hearns, Duran, and Hagler. But you can't measure Sugar Ray Leonard in numbers. He was a dancer in the storm, a fighter who made pain look like poetry. He could punch, think, move, and mesmerize all at once. And the echo of his greatness still dances in every ring the lights touch. What happens when the roar of the crowd fades, and all that's left is the silence of your own thoughts? For Sugar Ray Leonard, the battles outside the ring would test him in ways no opponent ever could. He married his high school sweetheart, Nonito Wilkinson, in January 1980. Their 6-year-old son, born when they were still just teenagers, walked down the aisle ahead of them as the ring bearer. From the outside, it looked like the perfect story. The golden boy, the Olympic hero, the young family living the American dream. But inside the walls of their home, a different fight was unfolding. By the time their second son was born in 1984, cracks had deepened. Addiction had crept in, quietly at first, then all at once. Leonard was using alcohol, then cocaine. The man who once dazzled under bright lights was now trying to fill the void they left behind. During their divorce proceedings in 1990, Juanita testified that Ray had been abusive during his drug-fueled lows. He didn't deny it, but even as he owned his demons, the damage had been done. Redemption, though, has always been part of Ray Leonard's story. He got sober. He sought peace. And in 1993, he found love again with Bernadette Roby, daughter of music legend Paul Roby. Their Pacific Palisades wedding was a fairy tale, 10,000 roses flown in from the Netherlands. But had Sugar Ray truly found balance after the chaos? That part of the story is still unfolding. What does life look like when you've conquered the ring, made millions, and etched your name into history? For Sugar Ray Leonard in 2025, it's not about flashing wealth. It's about living a life built on elegance, intention, and legacy. Tucked high above the shimmering coastline of Los Angeles, Leonard's estate in Pacific Palisades stands like a monument to quiet power. This sprawling Italian-style villa, nearly 17,000 square feet of crafted luxury, isn't just a house, it's a sanctuary. Perched on nearly 2 acres of prime California real estate, it whispers rather than shouts. From fireplaces imported from Europe to a chef's kitchen lined with Jerusalem stone, every corner feels personal. The master suite opens to sweeping canyon and ocean views, while just beyond the walls, you'll find a tennis court, a putting green, a sun-drenched pool, and a 2-story guest house, each piece part of a mosaic of comfort and class. He's listed the estate before, once for over $50 million, making it one of California's priciest celebrity homes. But the value isn't just in the walls or marble floors. It's in the legacy it represents. This isn't a boxer's house. It's a champion's. Leonard's taste off the canvas mirrors his style inside it. Sharp, measured, timeless. He's not chasing the flashiest supercars or headlines. You'll find him behind the wheel of a Cadillac, gliding through Los Angeles with the same smooth confidence he once used to dance around opponents. His possessions, like his persona, are carefully chosen. Nothing loud, everything deliberate. Beyond the glitz, his wealth is anchored in smart choices, properties in California and Maryland, lucrative brand partnerships with names like Coca-Cola and Ford, and royalties for his best-selling memoir, The Big Fight. His speaking engagements fetch 5 figures a night. But his lifestyle isn't just a reward, it's a reflection. A mirror of the man who earned it not only through brilliance in the ring, but through grace outside it. So, what does a life of true victory look like when the cheers have faded and all that remains is legacy? For Sugar Ray Leonard, retirement wasn't the end of his story. It was a new beginning, one defined not by titles or punches, but by purpose, reinvention, and a relentless desire to give back. After stepping away from the ring, he didn't disappear into the shadows. He stepped confidently into a new kind of spotlight, becoming a beloved figure in sports broadcasting. Whether on HBO, ABC, or ESPN, his insight, intelligence, and signature charisma made him one of the most trusted voices in boxing. And when he took the reins as host of The Contender, a gritty, heartfelt boxing reality show, he earned not only an Emmy nomination, but also the admiration of a new generation of fans who never saw him fight live, but felt his impact just the same. Leonard's reach stretched even further. He embraced acting, appearing in shows like Renegade, Half and Half, Married with Children, and even landing a role in the Oscar-nominated film The Fighter. He wasn't just surviving after boxing. He was thriving, growing into a full-blown pop culture icon. But the heart of his post-boxing journey wasn't fame. It was service. In 2009, Leonard founded the Ray Leonard Foundation, focused on juvenile diabetes and underserved youth. He testified before the U.S. Senate, led campaigns nationwide, and used his voice to fight battles that mattered beyond the ring. In his 2011 memoir, The Big Fight, Leonard pulled back the curtain, revealing the darker corners of his life, his struggles with addiction, trauma, and identity. It was bold, it was human, and it inspired. He even danced his way into millions of homes on Dancing with Stars, proving that footwork, grace, and heart never leave a true fighter. He is a symbol of transformation, and a reminder that even outside the ring, champions keep fighting. Before you go, don't miss out on exclusive perks. Click the link in the description to become a channel member and enjoy awesome benefits, like suggesting future video topics, getting early access to new content 48 hours before anyone else, and much more. Your support means the world and helps us keep bringing you the stories you love. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more amazing content. And while you're here, why not check out our deep dive into Floyd Mayweather's video? Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.